Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 3 of my best bets for tomorrow's horse racing action. Now before we get into that, first of all I just want to apologise for not making a video today. I did say on my video on Friday night that there wouldn't be any tips on Sunday. That's because I was just taking a little bit of a break from things. I was busy on Saturday evening and this morning and I just didn't have time to do a video, so apologies for that. But before I get into the tips for tomorrow, I'll just quickly do a recap on how our selections ran on Saturday. In the end, we would have just come out with a small loss, but we did have 2 profitable bets. The 2 of those were, first of all, Yukon Glen, who made the frame with the extra places at 28 to 1. He really did save our day and made the damages far less than they would have been if he hadn't have placed. He ran a nice race, tried to make all from the front, but sometimes it's hard to do that at York. He did win that race by doing that style of running a couple of years ago, but he just got reeled in by the likes of Sinjari, certain lad who made the frame, and Sinjari won the race. But he still ran a valiant race, and he still had ability. And in the end, if you got the 28 to 1, which I think most of people would have if they took the 6 places, he was that price for the most of the day, so he would have made you a nice bit of profit there. The only other tip of note that was any good for us was Gulliver. We put him up at 10 to 1 each way. He was well backed in the end. I think he went off at 11 to 2, ran his usual kind of race where he normally makes the frame if he doesn't win, and he claimed a little bit back there for us with a bit of profit. But yeah, away from that, it was slightly disappointing. Our Nap Care Moro, I think her head carriage let her down again. Even though she had a bit of a crazy head carriage last time, she was a cut above that field. But I think if she learned to settle a little bit better, she would be in a really effective tool over 5 furlongs. I think she could probably improve probably 5 or 6 pounds. I think she could definitely take a step forward, because I think she probably should have won that race at the weekend. But take nothing away from the winner, it was a nice performance. I think it was Mosgiel, wasn't it, that won that race in the end. But yeah, it was just one of those annoying things where maybe if she just settled a little bit better, she probably would have got more involved for the win. But yeah, that was slightly disappointing there of Care Moro. The next best was Tinto. Tinto couldn't live up to it in the end. It was probably a little bit more of a warmer race than I gave it credit for. You had the Tin Man and Tabid fighting out the finish, but I don't think really any of those horses, maybe Tabid could, but those horses are really going to be challenging the likes of Oxted, Batash, in these sprint races. I think Batash and the others that I just mentioned there are more in a different league than some of those sprinters that were running in that Group 3 on Saturday. And then we had Vivid Diamond as well. She couldn't land a blow at all. She was really disappointing, actually. I really fancied her to go well. But yeah, no excuses there. So yeah, it was kind of a disappointing day. And Snow as well, I shouldn't forget that. She was our last tip of the day. She ran in the Irish Oaks. She kind of held her price pretty much throughout the day. She was pretty much a 7 to 1 shot for most of the day. But in the end, wasn't good enough, But no complaints really. She went out to the front. That's the way she's been running and doing well. But she just couldn't take that leap forward. But we did see a couple of knocks for the form of the Epsom Oaks. I know Passion did finish in 3rd, but she wasn't ever really going to get involved for the win. And then you also as well had Esty Mum, who finished in 2nd place in the Oaks. She was really disappointing. I think she came dead last in the end. So yeah, that Oaks form is not looking particularly well. Yes, I know Love did destroy the field that day, but we'll have to see what she does next time out, if I'm truly convinced by how good she could really be. Because like I've made many times, and I'm not going to go on about it anymore, but I think what she's beaten so far isn't that good, and a lot of the form isn't really stacking up from the fillies division. So the Irish Oaks, it was probably an under par renewal, but fair play to the winner. I think it was even so, wasn't it, for Ger Lyons and Colin Keane. He had his 2nd Irish Classic of the season, and he's definitely, I think, gonna just get better and better as a trainer, Ger Lyons. But yeah, that's how the tips went on Saturday, but hopefully we can do a little bit better on Monday. And we just got 3 tips for tomorrow. We're going to be actually starting with my Nap, actually, which runs in the 3 o'clock at Gowran Park. We're going with Shannon Fields, currently 11 forward bookmakers at the moment for Mark Walsh and Eric McManara. Now this horse is in the JP McManus colours, and I thought this horse ran a nice best race on its first run since the lockdown. Finished in 3rd place at Tipperary, and I believe that was its handicap debut. Actually, it was, yeah. And it was racing off that day off a mark of 95. Now, it plugged on quite well into 3rd place, and the handicap was only raised at £1. Quite lightly raced, and I think there's a lot more to come from this horse. And I think Connections have found a good opportunity here, because there's a lot of horses that are exposed, don't really look like they're going to be able to improve that much. Whereas I would be annoyed if Shannon Fields couldn't turn out to be a 100+ horse in time. You know, it was an encouraging run at Tipperary, and I think she'll come forward for that run as well. She'll strip fitter, and I think she's going to take another step forward. And this horse, if it replicates its run last time at Tipperary, I think it's got a good chance. And if you actually go back through some of the novice form, you know, it was running against the likes of Asterion for Longe, even though it was well beaten. Obviously, there were hotter contests then, and this horse looked like it was always going to be one for handicaps. And off a mark of 95, I thought that was a workable mark last time out. It proved to be so. This horse actually even went off favourite for that race at Tipperary, so they were expecting a good run. It ran okay, but I think it probably needed the run, and I think tomorrow, I think this is going to be the day where this horse is going to bag its first victory. So at 11-4, I think it's got a good chance tomorrow, and I'd be disappointed if this horse wasn't winning this race. So that's why it's going to be my nap. We then go to my long shot, which runs in the 450. This isn't one of my longest shots I've ever tipped, but I didn't really fancy too much tomorrow at a price, but I'm going to go with one last hug here for Paddy Mathis and Jim Goldie. Currently 13s2 at bookmakers at the moment. Recommend an each way bet here. Now, this horse has got lots and lots of untapped potential over staying trips. Now, if you look at the pedigree of this horse on the dam side, actually related to loads of horses that won over a mile and a half. This horse is a half brother to Bray of Locash. You've got Hugo Igo. You've got some other horses as well in its pedigree that all were winning over a mile and a half, up to 2 miles. And last time out, it tackled a mile and 5 furlongs for the first time in its career and ran a valiant second. And I think it's definitely worth another crack at this trip. Now, this horse is going to be pretty much carrying bottom weight tomorrow, running off a mark of 45. And I think that's definitely a workable mark. Now, this horse, he's not had lots of racing, to be fair. He ran once when he was a 2-year-old, and then he wasn't seen again until 2 years later, and then he's kind of been a bit of a slow burner. But I think he's been running over the wrong trip. He was running over a lot of sprinting trips because his sire is actually more associated with sprinters, but on his dam side there's far more stamina, and he probably fits the dam side of his pedigree more, which suggests that by going up in trip, you think he's going to suit him. Now, Jim Goldie's stable as well, they've been in good form. They had a couple of winners at Ayr last week, and their horses, even though they haven't been firing in the winners, they're running a lot better. You know, they've been making the frame, they've been making the places, and I just think this horse tomorrow has got a good chance in this race. It's got a lot more potential to come, I think, over these kind of trips, and I'd be disappointed if one last hug couldn't make the first 3. So I'm going with that one as my long shot tomorrow. We then go with my last tip, which runs in the 5 o'clock at Windsor. This is my next best, second collection for Tom Marquand and Tony Carroll. You can currently back it at 10-3. Now, this horse is going up in trip tomorrow after it was running over at 5 furlongs at Windsor, and it plugged on really well. This horse has always been a horse that's come with a late run. I remember when I did some work with the pundits page, I put this horse up a couple of times at Wolverhampton, and she showed a blistering turn of foot. She's really good at coming with a late run, and I think stepping up in trip tomorrow to 6 furlongs will really suit this horse. There's a nice bit of pace up front as well. The Richard Hannon horse, the Mark Johnson horse, you think they're going to be prominent, they're going to be setting the tempo, and if they go hard early on, they go quick, I think second collection could come with a late run and be the one that picks up the pieces. Now, Tony Carroll's yard, they haven't been firing on all cylinders, but their horses, a bit like Jim Goldie, they've been running a little bit better. They've had quite a few placed horses today, and they kind of do well when they team up with Tom Marquand. He's normally one of their notable jockeys. When they book him, they really mean business. And Tom Marquand has actually won on this filly quite a few times on her career, so he knows her like the back of her hand. And I just think going back against the own sex tomorrow, going up in trip, that should be fine. The form was that race at Windsor as well worked out okay, because the 3rd and the 4th place horse ran respectable races, or it was actually the 3rd and the 5th place horse in that race. So you had Konchek and Blue Vega, they finished 3rd and 4th on Friday in a competitive race at Sandown. So the form's looking okay, and I just think second collection at 10-3, she's a good bet there, and I just think the race could set up well for her tomorrow, and I think she's a massive danger in this race, and that's why she is going to be my next best. So I'll just quickly recap the 3 best bets tomorrow. My nap runs in the 3 o'clock at Gowran over in Ireland. Shannon Fields 11-4 win only bet. The Longshot 13-2 each way in the 450 at Ayr. 1 last tag. And we then go my next best, which runs in the 5 o'clock at Windsor, second collection 10-3 win only bet, and that is the next best. So they're the 3 best bets for tomorrow's horse racing action. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, where my handle is @LuckyLoader15. You can also check out my website as well for a full portfolio of my work, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.